Hey, what's up? This is Widowmaker. It's been a while, been a hot minute since I made a video. And it's because I've been struggling with my equipment. So anyway, I'm gonna shoot one out to you now. I got this progressive press probably about 3 weeks ago. It's a Dillon RL-550C 555C legendary press right here. I started out on this turret press right here, nothing wrong with it. I went about 50 bullets an hour over to this, about 100 bullets in 20 minutes. Taking my time, not trying to rush or anything, just so that's a pretty big improvement. But when you get a progressive press, there's more of a chance that you could possibly double charge your cases. So what you do is, I'm running a lockout die right here made by RCBS. I'll show you how it works. You set it to the grain. You set it to the grain of powder that you're going to be dropping, and it will save you from a double charge or a squib load. So, unfortunately, I actually had one of those, and it was on my birthday that I discovered it, and it was on my 45 1911, 45 ACP. And what had happened was the primer went off. There's no powder in it. It's a squib load where you load, it's basically a dummy round, but you got a primer in it. The primer has enough pressure to send the bullet through the rifling of your barrel. The problem is there's not enough for it to completely go through the barrel. So luckily, the bullet didn't go in far enough where it would chamber the next round. What happened was, it stayed out battered. When I heard the shot go off, I automatically knew something wasn't right, because it was not as loud as the shots earlier, before that. So what you do is, you set this die up. You got a white line right here, and you have to set it to that, to your charge. That's how you want it right there. And then when it goes over, it's supposed to lock it out. Now, normal function, it'll go up and it'll look like that. It won't stop right there. When you run the press, it actually goes all the way up. But it will detect, it can detect an undercharge or an overcharge, or, you know, an undercharge or not a charge at all. And I wish that this 550C had, it's only got 4 stations, and I wish it had an extra station. That way I could go ahead and use my factory Lee crimping die. But in order for me to crimp, I just started on that. In order for me to crimp, I have to crimp with the seating die, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just some people prefer to do it as an individual step instead of
how this works is
2 steps.
You throw a charge in a case
and do it all in the same step.
and you weigh it.
Works is, and that's 6.0 grains of powder. Then you come over here, get your case, you put this in here, and there's a thing that this thing will hit. You push down on the die, and it pushes this up where it's on the right white ring. Well, actually it needs to come up. So you push this and it stops. Okay, and it's on the white ring. See, it actually probably needs to get down. So what you do is you hold this part and you screw this part down a little bit. And then you check it. And you do it until that white ring is just flush. Like that right there. Now this is the bench method. This is the easiest way. I'm told on videos that I watched on YouTube, they claim that this is the easiest way to do it. There's another method is on the bench, and they said it's a pain in the butt now to set up. So that's all you have to do to set the die up. You just put it in the tool head here, screw it down, and you're supposed to screw it down until it hits the I'll just put that button in there. Those buttons hold your casing in so it don't spill out. So to check this, you want it to hit the lever, the sub plate of the shell plate. The sub plate's underneath the shell plate. So that should be good. So what you do is you put your button back in there, or whatever it's called. I'm calling it a button. And then you advance the shell plate. And you go ahead and you stick another shell in here. You shove up on it. And that checks it. It's checking it. See the white line? So that passed. And you go ahead and you see the primer and you advance it. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take this out, and I'm not going to put any powder in this case. I'm going to go ahead and see the bullet. So you got multiple things going on with the progressive press. That's why this is for human error that can happen real easy. I've been loaded for 13 years, and when I got this press, I was like, whoa, I can definitely see how you can make a mistake real quick if you're not thinking. So that round's completed. Now watch this. Say for whatever reason that didn't charge. Watch this. Ah. It locked the freaking thing up. I can't do anything. And just to show you I can't do anything, I'll put two casings in here. One's to be size and one's to be throw powder. It locks it up. That's it. It won't go no further. So when you have that happen, you know something's wrong. Either the brass ain't lined up in your first station, or this thing, you've screwed up and this thing saved your ass just now. So as you can see, that's in the powder station, but look, no powder. It won't let any powder through because it locked it up. And this would have been a squib load. Now, what happens if we double charge it? Because accidents happen, we double charge it. Not paying attention, we don't advance the shell plate, we just do that twice for whatever reason. We got a double charge in there. This is how you blow your gun up, ladies and gentlemen. You advance the shell plate, not knowing you have a double charge. And then you're loading, as usual. And then you go back up here and so it's locked up again. Imagine that. So that's just an extra thing to check yourself in case you screw up. It will save you from blowing a gun up or having a squib load or what have you, because this thing moves pretty quickly. I'll load to show you how quickly this thing can move. And like I said, I've been loading for 13 years, and when I first got this thing, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I give you a, for instance, right here's one. Federal started putting brass out for whatever reason. The one that's primed is a large pistol primer. That's what it normally is. The one that's unprimed is a small pistol primer. Why they did this, I have no freaking clue. Because to my knowledge, the 45 ACP has been a large pistol primer since they developed the round. And now they're trying to reinvent the wheel, I guess. All right. But what I was saying was, I'd be loading and I'd have all the stations filled up and I'd throw one of those in there. Well, you can't prime it because you're trying to shove a large pistol primer in a small primer pocket. It ain't gonna work. So this is after you sized it, through your charge and what have you. So I would have to take that piece of brass out and advance the shell plate, because if I was like, screw it, pick up another piece of brass, throw it in there and resize it, guess what? Wham, you just threw a double charge right there. And like I said, it's not even that hard to do. So I had that happen and I had to really think what was going on here, and I'm like, wow, that could have been a double charge if I didn't think about that. So this is just an extra precaution because we're human, we make mistakes. I think it caught a squib load on me for whatever reason. The powder didn't charge, and you can leave station 3 empty with no dye in it, and you can manually check your powder by sight, like see, it just jammed up there, and what it is this thing is not, your first casing's not lined up, first station. All right, now you prime it, then you advance it, and you do that, then you set a primer. Let me get some bullets here. Then you advance it, place your brass, place a bullet. Now, for every time I do this, every time I pull the handle from now on, hear that? That's all loaded around. See, I don't have to sit here and watch this powder. They got a powder comp that Hornady does, and how it works is you sit there and you watch it. It's got a O-ring on it, a white O-ring, like this has got a yellow band or a white band around it. It's the same concept, except for it doesn't lock it out if you screw up. You have to manually check it each time you go up with the stroke. And if it don't come up as far as what it's supposed to, then you know that you don't have the right amount of powder in it. Okay. Now you can see how you can knock them out real quick. I love this thing. Would I recommend a beginner starting out on this? Absolutely not. You need to learn how to load first before you step up here. I've been doing it for 13 years and I figured, well, it's time to either step up to the big boys or shut up and go home. So, but that's all there is to it. I mean, it looks easy, but it is easy. But what I'm saying is you have to learn the basics. First die station, when it goes in, it's reforming the brass to factory SAMI specs and depriming, which I deprime mine because already with the universal deprimer, because I wet tumble. You remove them, and I mean, every now and then there might be one that's not, but when you remove them, it cleans the primer pockets really nice. So that's why you do that. So anyway, when I found out about this RCBS Lock Out Die, that was a no-brainer. It was like 60 bucks, but what's 60 bucks when you got a few $100+ in your gun? Not only that, your gun can be replaced, your face can't, or your hands, or whatever. You know, that's a dangerous situation you got going there. If you create a double charge or a squib load. And this is one of those stupid primers, or brass. It takes a small primer. Now, I went ahead and see this bullet. I have to go ahead and advance this because if I don't, I'm going to double charge it. And then I got to skip this one and put one in there in station 1, skip station 2 and go to station 4 and see the bullet. Now, do you think a beginner, someone that's just learning how to reload, would have caught that? I very seriously doubt it. They would have just went on without thinking anything else about it. And going on without thinking anything else about it, and that's that. Then when they get to the range next time, they blow their gun up. All right, guys. This is Widow signing out. I hope y'all enjoyed my tutorial here. So, tutorial. Mispronounce that, assuming. So I'm gonna run my press down here. And man, that's all there is to that. Just in that length of time right there. I got some 45 ACP to burn up at the range. So if you're interested in this, Midway has it. You can get it any place that sells dies will have it. The number, it's backwards. The number, it's the RCBS Lock Out Die. The number is 87540. You can just search that on a website and it should pop up that die. All right, guys, y'all have a good one, and I'll catch you on the flip side.